Here she is at long last, Miss Sally, the third and final one of the Cars trio that I have not yet covered whatsoever. Which is kind of surprising given how much of a hardcore Cars fan I am. In any case though, I'm finally getting to covering her now. Cause Sally is another one of my favorite Cars characters. I enjoy her relationship with McQueen a lot, and it's very sweet. She may not have the spotlight all that much, but when she is in the spotlight with McQueen, oh boy, it's quite a fun watch. I'm very curious what Sally is going to bring to the table in this episode. Well, let's waste no time and jump into this very lovable Cars character.
Life could be a dream, life could be a dream.
Sally has a kind and caring personality and cares deeply for her friends in her hometown of Radiator Springs, in addition to her immense care for the town itself. Among the residents of the town, she takes the most interest in the history of the town, and during Radiator Springs' lowest point, felt a great deal of sadness when reminiscing about what the town was like prior to the construction of Interstate 40 and the removal of the area from maps. However, these feelings were nullified when Lightning McQueen declared the town his official racing headquarters, which restored the interest and attention the town once received. She is among the more intelligent citizens of Radiator Springs, in addition to being viewed as charming by other cars, such as Lightning McQueen and Mater. Upon her entrance during McQueen's trial, she catches Lightning's attention and he begins to flirt with her, feeling an attraction. Despite initially showing contempt and disgust towards McQueen following his destruction of Radiator Springs' main road, the two eventually form a bond, and enter a relationship following Lightning's return to Radiator Springs after the 2005 Piston Cup season's closure. Sally occasionally shows a sense of sarcasm when speaking, a trait that was particularly noticeable shortly after meeting McQueen. Otherwise, Sally speaks knowledgeably, making intelligent statements. In terms of the Porsche's VAs, well, there's not really that much to say really. Sally's main VA in all three of the movies is Bonnie Hunt, who would also go on to voice Dolly in Toy Story 3 and 4. And probably 5, but I don't know. We don't know much about 5 yet. Hunt does a wonderful job of bringing Sally to life with her vocal range, especially in certain scenes in the first movie where the character got the most amount of spotlight. And strangely, in Cars 3 Driven to Win, which is the game for Cars 3 by the way, she's voiced by Sophie Velos. I apologize if I just butchered that. A bit weird that Hunt didn't come back, but whatever. In any case, Sophie's okay. I enjoy her voice performance whenever I play as Sally in the game, but I do still prefer Hunt by a long shot. Now, you would think that just because Sally hasn't been given that much spotlight across all three movies, you'd think there'd be barely any standout moments for her. Well, there actually is a standout moment for her, and it comes from the first movie. It's the scene where Sally and McQueen race up to Tailbin Pass, which is where the Muddy McQueen from the 2010 Final Lap collection and the Nature Drive McQueen from the 2013 McQueen series comes from. This is a pretty funny and charming watch. I just love seeing how playful these two are in this scene. Makes for a really delightful watch. And all of the sceneries are just gorgeous to look at visually. Not really related to Sally, but I just wanted to bring up visuals just for the sake of it. And other than that, not really much else in terms of standout moments for Sally, aside from her motivational comment to McQueen in the third movie about not giving up on racing. But not much else to say really. Sally could only be described as a rather sweet character. Her relationship with McQueen is sweet, even if it started on rocky terms when McQueen first arrived. and her backstory on how she worked at the Wheeler Hotel was rather interesting. And the basis choice for Sally was an interesting pick. A 2002 Porsche 911 Carrera. A very peculiar looking car, but a perfect choice for Sally, given the type of character she is. Sally, like I said, is another one of my favorite characters in the Cars franchise, and I'm glad I finally got to cover her in this year's marathon. And who knows, maybe I'll cover Doc Hudson if I bring this series back next year. Who knows what could happen. And that concludes another Character Highlight Reel Part 2 installment. Sally was definitely a great character to cover this year, but we're not done just yet with Pixar characters, as tomorrow, yes, we will be covering the two characters that I've been wanting to cover for a long time now. The ever so iconic duo from Monsters Inc., Mike and Sully. Words cannot describe how excited I am to cover these two. But if you guys want to stay tuned for that, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications to stay up to date and to not miss out on the newest content. Until next time, bye guys.